The New York Islanders are making a change on the power play, so let's talk about that change.
You're listening to Up the Turnpike with hosts Mitch Anderson and Matt O'Leary.
Welcome to Up the Turnpike, your source for New York Islanders content, both here on YouTube and over on Patreon, where we host our podcast that we do twice a week. So sign up today at patreon.com/uptheturnpike. In this video, let's talk about Matthew Schaefer becoming the quarterback of power play number 1. It was confirmed yesterday on Monday at practice that Matthew Schaefer would be quarterbacking power play 1, at least at practice. And as Stefan says, expect that to be the norm going forward unless told otherwise. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure you're going to feel the same way as I have. It's finally, which let's just hold on to that thought for 1 second. All of us saying, finally, Matthew Schaefer's being given the reins of power play 1. It is, last I checked, October 21st. We've played 5 games on the season, and already we're clamoring for our 18-year-old to take over power play number 1. I don't think any of us believed that was going to be the case 5 games in the season. I'm sure some of you thought it could be. And if you weren't part of that camp, then congrats to you. But no one thought it was going to be. No one thought for sure that by 5 games we're going to be dying for Matthew Schaefer to take over power play 1. But that's just how freaking good he's been. At least offensively. You know, sure, he's got his some defensive issues, but like, name me an 18-year-old that doesn't. Regardless, his offensive abilities are off the charts, and that's why you give someone like that power play 1. It's a no-brainer already, just in terms of the eye test. We're going to get into some stats here, but the eye test tells you should be giving Matthew Schaefer the reins of power play number 1, because when he's out there, he absolutely tilts the ice in our favor that no other defenseman can match. And so I preface some stats. Let's talk about those power play stats in Matthew Schaefer's favor here, right there. So I just want to preface this for a second here. We're going to be talking a lot about Tony DeAngelo compared to Matthew Schaefer. I really don't want this to be specifically about Tony DeAngelo. That's unfair to him. It's just, he's the only other defenseman who's played power play time. So really look at it as what happens when Matthew Schaefer is on the power play and when he's not on the power play, okay? Because it's really just Tony DeAngelo and Matthew Schaefer playing power play as defensemen, okay? So this, again, not specifically anti-Tony on the power play. I think he absolutely belongs on the power play. Let's say power play 2. But this is just highlighting the differences of when Matthew Schaefer is on the ice for the power play and when he is not, okay? So what we're seeing here is pretty much same ice time, 15-19 to 14-27. And the Corsi 4 is in the non-Matthew Schaefer power play favor. Only slightly, 27 to 29. But that's where the differences are the in favor of non-Schaefer end. After that, it is all Matthew Schaefer favor, baby. Shots for, 16 to 12. Goals for, 2 to 1. Expected goals, 2.67 to 1.49. Scoring chances for, 17 to 12. High danger chances for, look at that stark difference, 8 to 0. 8 to nothing. That's a huge eye-popping difference when Matthew Schaefer is on the ice versus when he is not. When he's there, they're creating opportunities, which is the entire point of the power play. You're given not a get out of jail card. What's the word I'm looking for? A license, let's call it that. A license to operate offensively and create as many opportunities as you can within a 2 to 5 minute period. And the Islanders are doing that when Matthew Schaefer is out there. Again, 8 high danger chances and none when he is not. That alone, right there, that stat alone tells you like having him there is tilting the ice in the Islanders' favor on that power play, which has been horrendous for years. So why is it so much so in Matthew Schaefer's favor? I think it's just because of his not constant positionless play, but his ability to play positionless. Right? He is a defenseman, so he's going to line up along the blue line, and that's his default position to begin with. But as the play evolves, you're going to see Matthew Schaefer go all over the place, which isn't the case, even right down the middle, which is not the case for most defensemen. They stick to that blue line, right? Because coaches teach them you got to stay there to protect against future odd man rushes, which is fair, right? You don't want that. You don't want to give up goals on the power play. That's just embarrassing. But with his positionless play, it allows for his own players to move back and cover and allows them to shift around, which has been a problem for the Islanders for years. They've been so pedantic and pedestrian and locked in position that it has been easy for defenders to defend that power play because they've been so predictable. And Matthew Schaefer, by his positionless play or ability to do so, gives the Islanders that creativity that forces players out of position and creates that unexpected quality that is creating those 8 high danger chances to the none when Matthew Schaefer isn't out there. He has to be given power play 1, and that's why we're kind of like, finally, he's doing it. Thank you, Patrick Roy, for finally giving him the power play 1 reins. Now, I understand that there's some of you who are going to be concerned about his time on ice, and I hear you. Absolutely, an 18-year-old shouldn't be playing 26 minutes consistently every night. It's just not the best use of his time. However, maybe we start looking at that with a little bit more context in terms of where is he getting that ice time? Is the power play time through the roof and the 5-on-5 time maybe more in line with the rest of his teammates? Then we're probably fine. Then it kind of makes sense because you want him out on the power play as much as you can, right? I get it. You don't want him out there as much, let's say 5-on-5, because you run the risk of injury, right? When he's playing defensively, he's got to get pucks out from the board when the other team is chipping and chasing, or dump and chasing, I should say. And that runs the risk of injury when you have those collisions along the boards. Well, that's not the case on the power play, right? When he's playing in the offensive zone, he doesn't have to go dig along the boards or below the goal line. That's just not what's going to happen. So if his ice time is 26 minutes a night because he's in line 5-on-5 with everyone else, but it's just junked because of power play time, then fine. However, if it's because he's just like playing, 20 minutes of 5-on-5 time versus everyone's 15, let's say, then maybe we should bring that down a little bit. But all this to be said, the Islanders are making a change on the power play. They're giving the reins to Matthew Schaefer for power play 1, and all of us are finally saying, thank God it's about time. So thank you for watching. Thank you for following. If you have not followed or subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that button. It helps us immensely. And if you have already, thank you, thank you, thank you.